Ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving on to the final session of the 2 days Chennai Lit Fest by Indoy Analytics. It's a very light-hearted note that I would like to mention here. When we have a problem, what do? Somehow regret, of course. Okay, so it falls, in the same pattern in which Panjali did. When she had the trouble, she first regretted that. Then she sought to the elders. Then she sought to the enemies. Then she thought she could protect herself. Then finally she raised her hands. That's how we talk about it. When we have a problem, that is a final stage of Draupadi. When we reach to, we think of God. So when nothing can resolve a problem, we think of a God. And when there is a problem for God, whom do we think of? T.R. Ramesh. Yes. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, to T.R. Ramesh. Recently, Tamil Nadu saw a great problem during the Ram Lalla Mandir Prana Pratishta that we were not allowed to do any group gathering or anything. There was a small news somewhere from the farthermost corner of Tamil Nadu, from a small little hamlet called Tenthirupperai, that somebody posted saying that the temple is stopping me from gathering the people here in the temple. The temple has 108 families and very small little tiny temple, one of the Divya Desams. The first response comes from T.R. Ramesh, reach me, contact me, I will free the temple from HRNC. And I come from Tenthirupperai. And yesterday there was a problem in Kapalishwara temple. Somebody shot a video. Someone was reading Bible inside the temple praharam, and they happened to ask question boldly. A lady has been asking this question. Whatsoever, there are 15-20 people tagging T.R. Ramesh, can you please resolve it? He has saved number of temples from being taken over by the HRNC and has given it back to the communities which were the Talatar or the ones who were the custodians of the temple. He has a very, very long profile. He fights the legal battle day in and out against the Tamil Nadu HRNC in the Madras High Court and the Supreme Court, and a very big legal fight, but he has all smiles all the time. I now request Shefali Vaidya to take this dais and handle the mic.
Hello. The Jayanti ji has very kindly introduced T.R. Ramesh and had said everything that there is to say, and it's really amazing the kind of work that he is doing. He is also my go-to man whenever I come across a problem in Tamil Nadu temples. He is the one I send a frantic message to on WhatsApp and say, T.R. Ramesh ji kuch karo. And almost invariably he takes action. We all know that he is a man in a hurry. He probably, how many cases have you filed in Tamil Nadu so far?
Currently there are 18 cases pending.
Okay, so 18 cases pending, and every day I am sure he gets tagged in the videos that Jayanti spoke about, like really, multiple times. It's like everybody sees any incident of misbehavior or anything happening in any temple in Tamil Nadu, T.R. Ramesh is the gentleman to go to. So my question to you, T.R. Ramesh ji, is, first of all, let the people understand the magnitude of the problem. So how many temples are there in Tamil Nadu? How many of them are under HRNC? And what does that mean in terms of temple management?
Which means they are not making even 800 rupees a month. Further breaking it down, they don't even make 30 rupees a day. With 30 rupees a day, you cannot buy 1 liter of milk, you cannot buy a bunch of bananas, or you are not going to pay the pujari or the archaka even the BPL level of wages. So there is no chance of mismanagement of properties and funds in such temples. Then why do we need those 35,000 temples under the government? Will be the first question. And most of them are village temples, which are now deteriorating, decaying, and the people are not coming forward, the people are not showing ownership because the community, the bhaktas have been alienated by the government. This is what means by government control of things. Then you have temples that get 10 lakhs to 2 lakhs. You should remember that the HRNC department of the Tamil Nadu government classifies temples not by the Pallava period temple or Chola temple or Pandya temple, or temples with inscriptions, or temples with murals, temples with beautiful structures and statuaries. They classify it based on income. So they say 10,000 to 2 lakhs, 2 lakhs to 10 lakhs, and 10 lakhs and above. In 1951, when the act came, they said we will appoint trustees to those temples which have more than 20,000 rupees income, which now will be equal to 20 lakhs. Now, they say we will appoint trustees to everybody, and invariably, the ruling parties, their men and women, come into the temples for whatever reasons. First of all, we must understand that the fundamental rights given under the Constitution of India, the religious rights are under Article 25, which gives individual religious rights, and under Article 26, which is a group right, rights given to a group or a community or a sect, or what we call in English denomination. Now, there might be a denomination which was powerful in a certain age, or which was having a lot of followers in a certain age, and they built a temple, or they got the administration of a temple. Later on, the topography or whatever changes in the town, and if there is a certain special section of Sri Vaishnavas, there are other Sri Vaishnavas in the same town or city. But this temple has to be run as per the tenets of the original denomination. So, similarly, for the Muslims, Shias and Sunnis, the Shia mosque has to be run as per the Shia principles, and the Sunni mosque has to be run as per their principles, even though they are both coming under Islam. The denominational right is a very, very important right. You would very easily understand it when I say it in the Christian term. Protestants, Pentecostals, Seventh-day Adventists, Martoma, Catholics, okay, they all have their own churches. And unlike Hindus, a person belonging to one church will invariably not go to the other church. From baptism to burial, you have to belong to the church. But it is not so with Hinduism. Today I will go to a Vishnu temple, tomorrow I will go to a Shiva temple. And nobody will stop me saying, hey, you are a Saivite, why are you coming here? Or you are a Vaishnavite, why are you coming here? Nobody is going to say that. Some people even do not know if they are a Vaishnavite or Saivite. That's the truth today. So, if you apply the rigors of this denomination as per Western definition, and you're going to say the certain fundamental rights to you are not available, then starts the problem. I can say more about it, but this is the problem of government control, is saying government has no place in our places of worship. This is as simple as that.
Okay, now let me play the devil's advocate here, because I want you to put this point really across. You have very clearly said that governments have no role to play in temple management, which I agree with you honestly. But just to play the devil's advocate, I am giving you the logic of the people who are opposing this, who are saying that government should maintain temples. They are saying that tomorrow, if government exists temple management, who will manage the temples? It will be a stronghold of a particular community, a particular area, the particular village or whatever, and there'll be infighting. They never seem to ask this question about places of worship of other religions. They never ask whether Christians can manage their own churches, or whether Muslims can manage their own mosque, or whether Sikhs can manage their own gurudwaras. But they keep asking, and most of them sadly have Hindu names, unfortunately. So how do you give an answer to them?
See, we have been conditioned from birth to think that our temples belong to government or belong to government control. They used to say that Rajaraja built the Bragadishwara temple in Tanjore, and he and this Chola kingdom was administering it. It is not true at all. Whichever king, whichever chieftain, whichever patron who built the temple, before the first consecration of the temple, they have to offer the temple to the community. In fact, Sri Dr. Nagaswamy told us this. There is a ritual that is done the previous day, and he said it's usually done at the time of sunset, where the king or the queen or the chieftain, he faces the sun and says the prayer in Sanskrit, says that by God's grace, by the grace of this Ishvara, this Perumal, I have built this temple. Today I offer this temple to this community. Anyone in this community who takes care of this temple, and their descendants who take care of their temple, till such time Chandra and Surya are there, their feet is on my head. That's what the king says. The kings did not administer the temple. The temples were administered by the local communities, the Grama Sabha, the Urar Sabha, as they had in Chola period. Now, there were some special endowments established by the king or the queen. To look after those endowments, some officers were appointed by the kings. See, the king would have kept a separate endowment either for Veda Parayana or for the Brahmotsava or for some special purpose in the temple. And he would have given lands, he would have given goats, cows, etc. The income from them has to be used for a particular purpose. For that, they had officers. But the temples were always administered by the local people. So, the government had, from the beginning, no major role. But if there are some mismanagement, and there are instances of mismanagement, our people are great people. They build temples, they manage them well, they are tyagis. They also, some of them also get to loot. There are inscriptions, what kind of punishment have been inflicted on those who took the temple money. So these things happen, but it's a question of management. And the British, with people have a perception, they took over the temples. They did not take over the temples. The 1863 Religious Endowments Act released temple from even government supervision. Before 1863, the temples were categorized by the district collectors as Chillara, the small temples, Madhima, and the Dasti temples, for which government had taken a lot of lands in their hands, but they were giving compensation. And the collectors, some of them realized that the temples maintain the village. The temples safeguard the village. The temple means everything for the village. So in some cases, the East India Company collectors gave the money in advance, and then they collected the money from the tillers. These things happened. 1863, they completely released all temples. But some collectors were very wise. They thought we should not give it to the people immediately. So they gave some of the bigger temples to the Matadhipatis of certain areas. And that's how Dharmaburaga Adinam got some 20 temples, Tiruvavadari Adinam, Tirukkurungudi, and all those places. Now, the question everybody is asking, and invariably, whichever forum I go, they said, do you have an alternate management plan? Which, if not government, who is going to? Yeah. Now, I'm going to raise some questions. Okay? Tamil Nadu. Can you mention one major or medium-sized temple? Anyone from here? Brihadishwara. Okay. Please go ahead. Meenakshi, Mylapore, Kapali, Srirangam, Chidambaram. Okay. Pillayarpatti, Rameshwaram, Tirukurungudi, Vaidishwaram Gul, Madheshwaram. Okay. Yeah, Kapalish is mentioned. Okay, now we'll stop here. Now, Chidambaram temple is the only big ancient temple that is not under the government and which the government wants to eagerly take over. Okay, now if you take Srirangam, Madurai, Tiruvannamalai, the symbol of Tamil Nadu government, the Gopuram, which is of Srivilliputturu, Tiruchendur, Palani, the biggest grocer in terms of income and in terms of devotees, number of devotees coming, Palani is the biggest temple in Tamil Nadu. They have something in common. I also tweeted some time ago. Rameshwaram, a Shiva temple, and Srirangam, a Vishnu temple, which were the ones visited by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, have something in common. I asked in Twitter, what is the commonality there? The commonality or the one feature that unites them is the fraud by the Tamil Nadu government by being there. Nothing else. In Chidambaram, the temple is managed by the community. Elsewhere, it is managed by government. You go ask the HRNC department, show me an order by which an executive officer is functioning here. They will not be able to show you. Go to Tiruvannamalai, ask the same question, they will not be able to show you that. Go to Madurai, Tiruchendur, Palani, Srivilliputturu, Kapalishwara temple. Kapalishwara temple, there is no order. The government took over in 1972. There is absolutely no order by which, a legally valid order by which an appropriate authority who has the authority to appoint an executive officer, it is never passed. When they came and said, we have passed an order, we have appointed an executive officer, we took some coconuts, bananas, we took a mala, we put the mala to the executive officer, welcomed him, and gave him a chair and said, please. We never questioned it. None of us questioned it. Our fathers did not question, our grandfather did not question. Do you know that the Chidambaram temple, which they tried to take over, the Madurai temple, the Tiruvannamalai temple, the Tiruchendur temple, the Palani temple, which they took over already before 1951. The provisions in the Act, Tamil Nadu HRNC Act 1951, they were all struck down by the Madras High Court Division Bench. Justice Satyanarayana Rao and Rajagopalan Iyengar, they said these provisions are unconstitutional. We are striking them down on 13/12/1951. That means the government is continuing there by fraud for more than 70 years. Total fraud. Now you take the HRNC Act, you go through the provisions. The provisions leave the administration of the temple to the trustees. Trustees have to administer. The government has to oversee. It has to watch this with a 10-foot pole. It has to wear a COVID mask and keep steps away. There's nothing in the provision that says the government will administer the temple directly and forever. There's nothing. On the other hand, in the constitution, the takeover of the management of a property, any property, like sometimes Reserve Bank of India takes over some banks because the bank's affairs are in a mess. The financial condition is a huge problem. And if it continues, the depositors will be put into serious financial problems. So RBI intervenes, it sacks the directors, it puts its own officers, it rectifies it, usually within 3 to 4 months. Sometimes it creates a moratorium when no transactions can happen. Similarly, the Company Law Board, when there is a problem in the management of a public company, it replaces the directors, rectifies the management issues, the malpractices, then gives the company back to the shareholders for them to select new directors. The same thing with the administration of a society, a trust, everywhere. But a temple, once taken over, remains taken over. Okay? That is about 5% of the temples which have been taken over. 95% is by fraud. On 22nd May, I filed a case saying, giving a list of 47 temples. There are no orders traceable in these temples where the HRNC executive officer is functioning. By which order he is functioning? I have asked under the RTA, they are not able to produce, so they are here by fraud. The court should declare so. The court that day passed an order called Rule Nisi. Rule Nisi means, why should we not accept the prayer of the petitioner? The court was prima facie convinced what Ramesh is saying is correct. From the records, they went through it and said, because they are seeing each and every RTA reply from each temple. ஆவணம் கிடைக்கவில்லை தேடிக்கொண்டிருக்கிறோம் ஆணையர் அலுவலகத்தில் கேட்கும், meaning ask in the commissioner's office, we are searching for it. Okay, now the court was primarily convinced. Then they said the second order. It's a very, very short interim order. Admit, one word, one sentence. Issue Rule Nisi, 3 words, 1 sentence. Produce all records, 3 words, another sentence. That's it. List on so and so date. So from 2022, the HRNC department has not been able to produce even one of the 47 temples by which they are functioning there, one order. I have filed another case in 2020 concerning Srirangam, Kapalishwara temple, Kanchi Kamachi Amman temple. No order ever issued, but there is an executive officer there. And the executive officer is drawing salary in lakhs. If he is a joint commissioner, he will take home every month 1 lakh rupees. If he is a deputy commissioner, some 80,000 rupees. You know, can a government do fraud? Yes. The proof is HRNC department.
This brings me to the greater problem. Once I was in Kumbakonam and I was on the lookout for one funerary temple that was built by Rajendra Chola, as in, I don't know what you call it in Tamil. So that particular temple I wanted to visit, it was in a small village, it's a small temple. So when I went there, the temple was deserted, it was locked and there was an iron gate there. So I asked with the local villagers, they said there is one priest who basically is appointed by HRNC for some 6 temples in the 10-mile radius. And every morning he goes on a scooter and he does the basic puja there, and that's about it. And so they gave me the number of that guy. I called him up and he came after some time. And then I said, what can I do for you? When I offered him some money, he said, don't do anything for me. If you want to do something, buy 5 liters of gingerly oil and give it to me, because there is no oil to light the lamp in front of God. I have never been more saddened in my life. I asked him, okay, the HRNC doesn't give you money to light the oil. There is a village nearby surrounding the temple. Why are the people not giving oil? Why are the people not coming to the temple? Why is the temple not open? Why is it locked like a jail? So they said the people have lost that connection. They'll come now only on festival days. So how do we convince? Whether the government will do something or whether HRNC will seize control is a different thing. How do we put temples at the center of our community like they once were? What can we do?
Yes, this is something that has to be done because otherwise next generation, even this one Archaka will not be there. I have had faced similar situations and all that. One of my friends, an IT company owner, has now taken up this task of reviving the most impoverished village temples, and he's revived 200 temples. He's ensuring basic pujas there. He is even willing to construct a house and give it to the Archaka, the pujari there. But he told me he will not give the house to him because he is in abject poverty. Tomorrow, if he wants to marry off his daughter, he might even sell it, and I can't blame him. So as long as he's doing puja, I'm willing to give a comfortable house there. I'm willing to get him a 2-wheeler a TVS 50 or something, because he has to go to 2-3 temples. So this has begun. But I have a far simpler solution. You want to revive a village temple, whether it's a Agama Archaka or a non-Brahmin Archaka, because in 44,000 temples, the Agama temples are only about 6,000. The government talks again and again about appointing priests of all castes. That's all bogus. The priests of all castes are already there. From the so-called scheduled caste communities to the Brahmins, Archakas of all castes are there. In fact, some of the Kuladevatas of Brahmin communities are managed by, or done pujas done by the so-called lower caste community persons. Now, I give you a solution. The salary of an Archaka in a village temple should be at least 15,000 rupees. The logic is 500 rupees a day. And some of these Rajendra Chola type of temples, one Archaka cannot manage. He has to ensure that proper pujas, he has to have an assistant. So another 15,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees. One person who cleans the temple and one watchman, 5,000 each. So 30,000 plus 10,000, 40,000 rupees. Then you have electricity and other expenses, another 5,000 rupees. And then you have the puja materials, 500 rupees a day. So like that, I have calculated little liberally than what they are getting now. I have reached a figure of 75,000 rupees a month for a reasonable pujas to happen. Then 75,000 into 12, it comes to 9 lakh rupees. One annual festival at 1 lakh rupees, 10 lakhs per temple. Take 100 temples, it is 10 crore rupees. 100 Shiva temples, 100 Vishnu temples, 20 crore rupees. This 20 crores is nothing for Payani temple, which gets 500 crores per annum. Taking Payani temple money, today the HRNC is building swimming pools for elephant, memorials for elephant. They are doing death anniversary celebrations for an atheist chief minister. They are wasting money in all directions. Instead of that, these Grama temples should be all given 75,000 rupees a month and ensure puja is done. And the Act, HRNC Act provides for it. It says the surplus funds can be given to temples that are needy. Payani temple can not just take care of 100 temples, it can take care of 1,000 temples. So I am going to move a bill before Madras High Court on this very subject, with this very suggestion. Because on 7/6/21, the division bench of Justice Mahadevan and Justice Adikeshwalu has given a detailed 225-page order on temple management, and they have given 75 directions. In the 75 direction, one direction is the surplus funds of temples shall be used only for the benefit of poor and needy temples and for the propagation of Hindu religion. Till date, that has not been followed by the Tamil Nadu government, so either a bill or a contempt petition, I will be filing soon on this. At the same time, Shefali ji, we have, in my opinion, 4 reasons. Apart from the indifference of Hindus, when it comes to temples, Hindus are mandus. Really. Okay. Now, there are 4 reasons. One is the bureaucrats. Even if one party goes and another party comes, the bureaucrats would not like to give up the hold on temples. S.R. Bommai announced that he will make temples free in Karnataka. The second reason is politicians. The combo of politicians and bureaucrats is deadly for Hindus. S.R. Bommai could not carry out his promise. And today Karnataka says, I will impose a 10% compulsory contribution. Luckily, it got defeated in the upper house, but we have to be watchful. So, politicians, bureaucrats, the third, believe me, are the courts. The courts, when you take a Hindu fundamental right, it views differently. What Shefalaji asked now is the same question asked by courts. If you take off the government, who will run the temples? I got the Payani Temple Executive Officer declared illegal in 2020 September. That fellow is still there shamelessly, thanks to the politicians, thanks to the HRNC department bureaucrats, and thanks to the court which has not acted on my contempt petition. The position of the executive officer is illegal, so declared the court. They went on appeal. In the appeal also they lost the case. Why is the executive officer still there? And not only that, he's got a deputy commissioner ranked fellow to assist him, two assistant commissioners to assist him. You know, one elderly gentleman asked a young fellow, "Young man, I see you here often. You seem to be loitering around here. Are you employed or are you doing business or something?" "No, sir, I'm neither going to an office or I'm doing business. I'm assisting my father." "Okay, what does your father do?" "He does nothing." That's the thing. This fellow executive officer is a fraud. To assist him, there are three more frauds. Drawing salary from the temple. So that case is again, it came on Friday, but it did not reach. I have mentioned it again, it will come again on Monday. The temple money is used to build colleges, secular colleges in the constituencies of DMK fellows. I have obtained stay order for 6 colleges. 4 colleges are the case is coming for final hearing on Wednesday.
In fact, I think you were instrumental in removing, in Tirunelveli, there was temple land being given for Christian burial ground or something, right? And
no, I was not directly involved in that. Okay. I should not take undue credit. Okay. But I was consulted. Okay. But what I did now recently is, they wanted to build senior citizen residences with temple money. They announced 5 crores. When the tender came, it became 45 crores. I moved a petition and I got a stay order. And the final order, we were able to show the Honorable Division Bench that the HRNC Act does not allow this at all.
Ramesh, I have a question for you. I am from Goa, okay?
Okay.
It's a state, it's the only state that does not have government-controlled temples. The temples there are community controlled. That is because Goa was under Portuguese rule. There's an act called Mahazania Act which controls the temples. The temples are community controlled. Some temples have only a particular community, what you call denominational temples. Some temples have a mix of communities managing the temple, but government plays no role. After every 4 years there are elections. There is a body of people. They're chosen from that, and then the whole thing repeats. The government's job is only to appoint an auditor to check the accounts. And because of that, Goan temples, if you've been to Goa, everybody will agree that they are one of the most cleanest, well-managed, big, rich temples where nobody runs after you to do this puja or that puja. And even a 10 rupee donation, they tell you to put it in the hundi or they give you a receipt. That is only possible because the temples are community controlled. Now my question to you is, since there is a working model here, there is a law in place, why can't that be used as a precedent and ask the courts to take cognition of it? This is a working model. This does work. So why cannot it be applied to temples across India?
Okay. I said there are 4 reasons. I mentioned 3. Nobody asked me what the 4th reason is. No. See, basically, the religious endowment subject in the Constitution is a concurrent subject. That means the state can legislate, the center can also legislate. Now, there is also one more state where there is no HRNC department. You will be surprised. All of you will be surprised, I think. Or most of you would be surprised. There is no takeover of temples by government. That is West Bengal.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone's surprised.
I did not know that.
But The temples there are not, as you say, clean. The administration is prim and proper, but they are free. They are free of government control. I think you have to be almost a minority or treated like a minority to have temple freedom. The same situation is there in Sri Lanka. Logically saying, the Sri Lankan temples are free of government control. I've been there. I've been to Colombo. I've been to Jaffna. I was in Jaffna for 4 or 5 days. I had the honor to address the Jaffna University. The temples are so clean, and there are no unnecessary shops there. The shops are kept away from the temple, and every temple has a chariot. Every temple has beautiful, clean access. You have to be a minority or think like a minority, I think, to have these temples there. But Goa model should be replicated. We are not seeking freedom to administer our own temples. Shivraj Chauhanji, Mamaji said he will release all temples from government control, Madhya Pradesh. BJP got one of the biggest successes, in recent successes in assembly election in Madhya Pradesh. Then we suddenly see Mamaji disappear from the scene. Bommai said he will release. So now this is the fourth reason. A party which says, I am for Hindutva, a party that's justice thump, keep on thumping his chest. We are for Hindustan, we are for Ram Raja, has done nothing to free temples. This may be not palatable here. See, I'm not going to vote for Congress. The Congress is the most insidious party because in 1965 when the Supreme Court declared get out of 45 temples, they amended the act. DMK and ADMK took advantage of it later on. The Congress is the one party, including Kamaraj, including Rajaji, which kept our temples under shackles. But BJP, it could have brought a Central Act. They took a copy of Central Act. They asked me to draft one in 2019. After that, nothing happened. I want to show you a presentation for 10 minutes where the NDA government, the BJP government, is losing a very big opportunity. How Kerala is going to become another Kashmir. We say Kashmir is now returning back, but Kerala is fast becoming a Kashmir. We can stop it. I want to show this presentation with your permission.
Yeah, please.
Can you see this screen clearly? You want to dim the lights?
Yeah. To change these lights.
Oh, excellent. Slide. Thank you. You want to dim the lights if you. So, we all know about Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple in Thiru Anantapuram. The Travancore kings, the Thiru Anantapuram kings, called themselves Padmanabha Dasa. They were ruling the kingdom as servants of Sri Padmanabha. Fabulous temple. And it had immense wealth in its treasure chest. The treasure chest is not a recent 3 or 4 century treasure chest, it's a 20th century treasure chest. One Sundarajan Swami exposed it. The world came to know about it. Now the chest, the treasure is at a risk. At the same time, there is something very positive there. Indic Collective Trust, of which I am the president, and People for Dharma, and a wonderful find in recent years, the superb Supreme Court lawyer J. Sai Tipak. He argued the Padmanabha Swami case beautifully and got the temple out of the communist government control. Along with that case, another case was presented. Now, a little history on the Padmanabha Swami temple. When the Travancore kingdom was forcibly annexed with Union of India, certain promises were made to the kingdom. This and the Cochin Raja agreed on certain conditions. The Cochin Raja had a temple of Sri Purnatareshwara temple of Tripunitura, and Padmanabha Swami temple and other temples of Kerala, including some of the temples we now have in Kanyakumari, which is now part of Tamil Nadu. So, in 1949, 6 lakhs was offered as annuity, 12,630 acres, and they offered some annuity for it. And overall, about 2,50,000 acres of temple lands were taken over by the Kerala government. The slide is self-explanatory. I move to the quick suggestion here. We have filed a case in Kerala. I have filed a case in Sabarimala matter also in Kerala and succeeded to a great extent in safeguarding the rights of the devotees by the grace of Bhagavan. And the annuity case we filed there. The Kerala High Court dismissed it. We went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court, just the bench of Kurian Joseph said, yes, you have a valid claim, but we don't want to deal with it, go back to Kerala High Court. We went back to Kerala High Court, and Kerala High Court has just kept it under wraps. It is not hearing the matter. Justice delayed is justice denied. Some 25,000 crore rupees need to come for Kerala. Now there is a gentleman by name Jacob Maplassery. His family had once protected the Murti of a Hindu temple near Thiruvananthapuram and kept it hidden during a riot in their house, and it was safely taken back to the temple. This is about 100 years ago. And even today, that Perumal during the annual festival comes to the family house of Jacob Maplassery, spends some time there, blesses them, and goes back. So this Jacob Maplassery is a devotee of Padmanabha Swami, and he came with a proposal. He said, let this wealth remain in the safe vault of Padmanabha Swami temple. Let it be further strengthened by RBI and government, and let it be declared as a RBI vault. Now Padmanabha Swami temple has made a gold deposit of 5 lakh crores with RBI, without the wealth moving there. It is there as before, status quo. Because they have made a gold deposit, RBI uses that money and issues quasi-currency bonds for 3 lakh crore rupees. 12,000 crores per annum is 3 times the income of Tirumala Tirupati without the expenses of Tirumala Tirupati, which is like spending 40% of its income on salaries. A huge fraud by the TDB fellows and the Rajshekhar Reddys and others who have appointed hundreds of unnecessary people after taking bribes. And the employees in TTD are paid government salaries for sitting on the chair or on the bench. So, solid 12,000 crore rupees. All the temples in Kerala, especially in Malabar region, Kasargod region, Wayanad, all these places, temples can be revived, pujas can be carried on, and more importantly, the Kerala Hindus can be given free education, free health care, and beyond Kerala, this can be done to the southern states and beyond southern states also. 12,000 crores is no ordinary money. Veda Padashala, Sundara Padashala, Goshalas. But above all, see the last line. The wealth is meant for institution building. You either support a Hindu school that is running now, or you build new schools. Kerala Hindus, what is the Hindu family's main expense? When they are young, it's education. When they are old, it's health. And you keep on building institutions. That's what the missionaries do. That was the conversion mafia does. They keep on building institutions. They keep on employing people. They keep on employing converts. With this, we can do Garvapsi. And in a big way. See, this is the question there. The Hindu population, percentage-wise, is coming down. And in many districts, the Hindus have become minorities. They are insecure. They are not able to freely buy property or sell property. They cannot start an institution because they don't have the money power or manpower. First of all, if you are afraid, you won't venture into anything. You won't start anything. Take 12,000 crores, start Kerala Hindu Aikyavedi, Padmanabha Dasa Aikyavedi. Start that, make Hindus members of it. If you are a member of this Aikyavedi, we will give you loans 2% less than the cooperative banks. Cooperative banks is the biggest opportunity for the communists in Kerala, by which they make the voters vote as one group. BJP tried to thwart that cooperative network, they failed. You start a Hindu network. Free education, free health care, subsidized loans. The tide will completely turn. Everybody will move into this network. And they will vote as one. I don't know why BJP is not taking the suggestion which you have been repeatedly telling them. You know, central government can completely make this cooperative societies meaningless by forming new Hindu cooperatives, new Hindu organizations that takes care of all these things. That 45% Hindus, you will see, if this runs for 3-4 years, will suddenly become 55. You will see a lot of people coming back. You cannot do dharma without artha. You need money. And the money has been given by the Lord himself. The wealth is not going to go anywhere. It is going to be with the Lord only, in the temple only. RBI is going to treat it as a deposit. Union of India is going to guarantee that loan. It is a win-win situation for everybody. Economy will get a boost. The temple will get income. Hindus will get enormous benefits. Unless we are blind, unless we are total duffers, we should not be hesitating to take this up. But we are hesitating. The government is keeping quiet. We filed a petition in Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said the new administrators of the temple can take a decision. It gave us freedom. The court simply cannot say, okay, implement this. They said you have the freedom to implement this. And nobody is doing it. You need, I repeat, you need artha to sustain dharma. You know, the grahastha, he takes care of the children. He takes care of the elderly. He takes care of the sannyasis. So similarly, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. The artha takes care of the dharma. And this is artha earned in the most dharmic way. Why can't the BJP do it? Why can't the BJP not only give freedom to temples, why should it not also empower them? You know what BJP can do? It has the power to do it. People say they are going to come back with 400 plus. I wish they come with 400 plus, but I wish they look at temple freedom. They look at empowering Hindus. Ram Mandir is a great thing. Something that not happened in 400 years has happened. Fantastic. Right, but there are hundreds of thousands of temples that served as the local dharmic network, that served as the place in which we learned our values, we learned our art, we learned the way Hindus think, worship, live. Thank you very much.
Hello. We have about 8 minutes, so I would open the floor up to questions. Yes, sir.
Mic can be given.
But please ask questions.
You can proceed on. Take this time.
You can pass it on.
Thank you, Ramesh ji, for all the great work you're doing
Check.
for getting back our temples and protecting our Hindu rights. One thing that I would want to ask is, what are all the forums that you are part of, and how do you think people who have spare time, maybe 5 to 10 hours a week, can help you in this endeavor? That's my first question. Second question is, you spoke about the income and categorization of temples and what we are losing. Does the government, or do we have knowledge of what is all the wealth that the temple holds in the form of land or in the form of rental incomes? Is there any track record? I'm sure government will not have it. What is the way to track that and at least list down what we get, what we are due?
Oh, okay, you got it, sir. See, as for the first question, I have an organization which we started in 2011. It's called the Temple Worshippers Society. Our operation from Temple Worshippers Society is mainly centered in Tamil Nadu. We have filed some successful case, and what cases I have lost here, I have gone to the Supreme Court. I have currently 3 cases pending in Supreme Court. Beyond that, my colleagues from Temple Worshippers Society are here. Mr. K. Nagarajan, he is coordinating the case filed by Pujya Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Nagarajan ji, may I ask you to, thank you. He is coordinating the case filed by Pujya Swami Dayanand Saraswati and 2 more acharyas from the Hindu Dharma Acharya Sabha. That case is prolonging for a long time, filed in 2012. And till now, there has not been an effective hearing. So one more grievance of me about the central government is the central government was made a party in 2022 in this important case. The Supreme Court judges said the fundamental rights are in varying degrees in various states. Like Goa, as Shefali said, and we are all very happy to listen to that particular statement. The temples are free, the temples are run beautifully, the temples are kept clean, the receipt for even 10 rupees, wonderful. The different degrees of Hindu fundamental rights in different states. So the center should answer. That's what the Supreme Court said. You know, when did the center answer? The 22 application. Any idea when they answered? Not yet is the answer. As Hindutva-oriented government, which we believe to be Hindutva-oriented, has not come to the court and said, yes, there are different standards applied in different states when it comes to Hindu rights. Why can't they say that? It is baffling. Shri Narendra Modi ji is a prime shishya of Pujya Swami Dayanand Saraswati. He himself has said so. This is baffling. The second organization I have is the Indic Collective Trust. We go beyond Tamil Nadu there. We have filed cases against the immigration of Rohingyas. We have filed cases for the Uttarakhand, the most atrocious act brought by BJP, the Uttarakhand Devasthan Act. Then Vaishnava Devi cases, Shabarimala cases. So these are the organizations I'm mainly involved with. I am consulted by many organizations or many individuals who want to fight temple cases. That way also my time is spent. Yes, people can come and help me, but I have put myself into a quandary where I don't even have time to ask for help. This is the biggest break I have taken in recent times. 2 days I have spent my time here. I'm not saying this in a boasting manner, but sometimes I feel I'm the president of Temple Worshippers Society. Sometimes I feel I'm also the peon there, scanning documents and taking photocopies. Of course, my friends support me. I'm just exaggerating. But that's how the work is. Then, regarding the properties of temples, every year the Tamil Nadu government issues the policy note of the HRNC department. We can form a group here, but of course I can't be present in any WhatsApp group because that distracts me and takes my time away. But we can find a blog or something where we can put this material. They come with a policy note. And in the policy note, they say we have 4,78,000 acres of agricultural lands, 29 crore square feet of sites, and 22,600 buildings belonging to temples, mutts, and endowments. And this was very convenient for me because I got hold of a 1986 policy note which said there is 5.25 lakh acres. So where did the 47,000 acres go? Nadavil sila pakkangalai kaanum. So, 47,000 acres cannot disappear. And when I wrote an article on this on Dinamalar, it caught the attention of the honorable judges of the Madras High Court. And in a case regarding temple property filed by somebody else, the judges said, we want to know where the 47,000 acres went. We have some wonderful judges who are really concerned about temples. But in India, the process of, hearing cases and arriving at a decision, and arriving, in my humble opinion, I'm no lawyer. A lot of people think I'm a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I argue certain cases in person. For certain cases, I take the help of advocates, senior advocates and all. In my opinion, the court has only two jobs to do. Look at the question of fact, look at the question of law. In any case, if the court does only that, then our cases will fly like this. There won't be an accumulation of huge cases. The second reason for accumulation is the government. In a writ court, in a constitutional court, the number of cases filed are because, one, the government did something they are not supposed to do. Two, the government did not do something they were supposed to do. These are the cases, day in, day out, because when I go to court, I see only these things coming. So, I also feel the court should punish the erring official. It should send 3 or 4 IAS officers to jail for not obeying the court or transgression of law and all that. For that, you people can help. You can raise a hue and cry. Instead of just putting a like in Twitter or in Facebook, you can form forums and then raise these questions. Earlier, I used to make requests to the forum like this, asking for RTA information, RTA applications to be filed and all that. Today, I have 70-80 boxes of RTA applications replied, which is only 5% success rate. So imagine how many RTAs I would have filed. But with that 70-80 boxes, I can file 150 cases. I have filed only 25-26 cases. So how to take help from you, I really do not know. A lot of people ask in Twitter, can we fund you? Can we help you? Can we give you money? I am very, very hesitant to ask for funds because it's easy to ask for funds. Then there is accountability. Then there is people will say, hey, you lost the case after taking money from me. That kind of accountability I don't want to have. There is no real ROI. I do take money because, as I said, you can't do dharma without artha. And I'm a retired person. My friends help me. But I believe in crowdfunding. People giving 2,500 rupees or 1,000 rupees or 500 rupees or 5,000 rupees. But a lot of them doing that. After believing that this fellow might do a good job, and this is an essential job that he is doing. That waiting. But only 3 times I have asked for money, and that was during COVID. I asked money for the temple employees, the people who sell flowers, etc., the musicians, archakas, twice during COVID, and each time I raised 30 lakhs. Just a simple request over Twitter. Each time I raised 30 lakhs. The third time I asked specifically for Tiruchendur temple because there is a community there. There's a very old community there, Trisundaras, and they have nothing to gain except from people coming to the temples. And the temples were completely shut down during COVID. They were in real trouble. So I raised another 35 lakhs for them. And instead of giving them money, we bought them groceries required for 2 months and gave each family a a bundle of these groceries. So I have not asked money for my cases publicly. I have taken help from people. I leave it to you how you can help me.
I'll just take one more question.
plan that you presented was very well conceptualized, and it's something that we can hope to see.
Which one?
The Kerala plan. Yes, but
It's a win-win, doable, but government has to put its mind into it.
but my only doubt over here is, and I think this is something that others may raise when you actually take the plan to them, is the 12,000 crores projection. The money that would come in every year. Who will be actually responsible for the disbursement of these funds? Is there a committee that would be placed that would be transparent so that nobody can question that this 12,000 crores, which is a huge sum of money, has the potential to be misused?
I got your question. I got your
sir.
question. See, basically, the temple is now administered by a group or a group of trustees called Yettarai Yogam. That means 8 trustees are there. From the chief tantri to the temple employee, all sections represented. Now, to arrive at a decision, there has to be a majority. So how will there will be a majority if out of the 8, 4% say one thing and the other 4% reject it? That's why it's called Yettarai Yogam, 8.5. The half vote is of the king, the Travancore king. So when there is a situation when 4 agree on one thing and 4 do not agree, the king can come in the picture and he can take one side. This is the general administration of the temple. But we need a special administration when the 12,000 crore is going to be a reality. We need experts, we need retired judges, we need chartered accountants to assist the Yettarai Yogam. Not take over the Yettarai Yogam. To help the Yettarai Yogam to see that the money is utilized in the best possible dharmic way. One question from the last question.
This is not a question, but just my suggestion on how we could actually help you is that, number one, many of the dharnas that happened in Tamil Nadu are not dharnas where hundreds or thousands of people come on road. It is covered in such a way that it looks so big on TV, but it's actually just 10 people or 15 people on the roads. So what we can first do is stand up for what we believe in. And if a bunch of us, 50, 60 of us are willing to come on the roads and stand for our cause, and whenever there's a fall of Hindutva, if we are actually coming and voicing out our opinion on road, and if we are able to capture a media which would actually put that on the social network, it will become viral in no time. So that is one way I think any dharmic Hindu can actually help the society and the system. Number 2, sir, just like advocate commissioners aid the court, if we handful of us gather together and, I remember in our previous meeting, you had specifically said these are the few questions that you would go and ask any temple regarding their documents or regarding, and not in a very questioning way, but just try and analyze and understand their documents and the information that they have, the orders, etc. You can train a few of us, or rather give us a checklist where whenever we go to any of these remote temples, these thousands of temples across the state, we can ask that and we can get you details. That way, on a continuous series of us can go month on month to say 10 temples in remote villages and get you data which will help you fight much better in the courts.
Yeah, thank you. See, we've been thinking about that also. But the first one regarding agitation, there is 3 ways we can approach the temple issue. One is awareness, which opportunities in the lit festival or the videos I speak, or they create the awareness. Second is the legal intervention, which is I'm headlong into. I believe more in that. To do agitation, you need to have a proper organization and you need to have proper participation. See, at least 1,000 people comes, the agitation fizzles out, in my opinion. The one agitation that was successful for a dharmic cause in recent times, of course, not everyone will agree it's a dharmic cause, it's the Jallikattu. Jallikattu is a Hindu ritual. Let's not forget that. And the man who won the Jallikattu case for all of us is Subramanian Swamy. Not many are aware of that. He won when he took the point of Article 29(1) as a culture of certain sections of Tamil Nadu. The court did not have an answer for his, question he raised. Anyway, agitation, I do not know, because you are saying a lot of ifs in your own statement. If this happens, if this happens. Not many people will be ready to come to the road. But success breeds success. Maybe we have to make a beginning. We are in the process of sprucing up our website, templeworshippers.org. And we will conduct some RTA modules there. We will put some questionnaires there to ask the temple administrators. So watch that space in a month or two. Thank you. Yes, I agree with you there. That's a wonderful thing. And also in West Mambalam, Ayodhya Mandapam. In 2014, 200 of us stopped HRNC from entering Ayodhya Mandapam.
Thank you so much.
It's
Rameshji, as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
I have been to some temples with Shefali ji. Wonderful experience, and she had told us some of the stories, wonderful stories. I'm very, very glad to be on the same dais with her. It's an honor, it's a pleasure. And what she is doing for Dharma, and what she is recording as history, particularly of Goa, we should all learn and remember.
Thank He did mention, ma'am. Yes.
I crossed the age of begetting children.
Thank you so much, sir, for this great. Ma'am, the point is, many of the audience here, around 60, will not be even able to bring their own children to this forum. That is where we are.
3.0. We are going to do Garbhakshi in big way.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that suggestion. Sir, we pray Bhagavan Sriman Narayana to bless the gentleman, the IT company person whom you mentioned, is now taking care of many temples with your plan. So may God bless him with wealth, health and prosperity. And I would like to quote Andal here. ஈரிரண்டு மால் வரையும் தோள் செங்கண் திருமுகத்து செல்வத் திருமாலால் எங்கும் திருவருள் பெற்று இன்புறுவர் என்று உங்களை தாயார் ஆண்டாளை சொல்லி வாழ்த்தணும்னு நான் கேட்டுக்கிறேன். பெருமாள் இன்னைக்கும் உங்களுக்கு கூட துணையாக இருக்கணும்னு. May I now request Sri Bharat Gopu to honor Sri T.R. Ramesh.